Here is your all-in-one guide to growing your #1 survival food, potatoes. Hey everyone, Dave with On Deck Gardening, where I show you how to grow your own food, just in case. So if you're gonna learn how to grow anything as far as food for survival, potatoes is definitely by far the best thing you can learn how to grow. The reason why is calories. You don't want to waste your gardening space growing herbs and tomatoes and things like that don't really have a lot of calories. If you're growing food for a situation like the food supply gets wiped out or whatever, potatoes are definitely going to be the best choice because you're getting calories, you're getting carbs, and you're getting a little bit of protein. So what I want to do, I have potatoes growing all over the place. I want to just take you step by step on how to do this in your own space, no matter where you live. If you even live in an apartment and you just have a patio, you can do this. So the first thing you need are seed potatoes. Now, local nurseries will really only sell them in the springtime. You could go online and get some right now, but seed potatoes, all they are is potatoes that have sprouted. You've probably seen this before if you left them in your pantry too long or whatever, but that's all seed potatoes are. In fact, these ones I didn't purchase. I bought seed potatoes one time, and then every time I harvest, I'll put some aside and I'll put them inside of a brown paper bag and just let them sit there, and then it just does this automatically. So you could even go to your local grocery store and buy some non-GMO organic potatoes, throw them in a paper bag, which is what I got right here, and make sure you poke holes in it. You do want a little bit of airflow, but you want a dark environment, and you want to put them somewhere that is just going to stay dry, and it's not going to have a lot of temperature fluctuations or anything like that. And over time, they're going to sprout. So the first thing I want to do is show you guys how I plant these in 5-gallon buckets. Now, right off the bat, I use this. This is like for scooping up seeds and putting them in little holes, but it's about 4.5 inches. Doesn't have to be this exact thing, but I find using something around 4.5 or even 5 inches just to measure things as you're planting these is great to have. So here's my 5-gallon bucket. If you need to know how to drill holes, I made a video on that, but everything goes really well in these. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get soil packed into the bottom. Just did 2 shovels full. Now I'm gonna just do that so everything kind of compacts down a little bit. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it in there straight up, and I'm going to fill it until this is almost covered. I don't know if you could see the little orange sticking up there, so I'm actually going to take out just a tad of soil, like 2 handfuls. There, it's showing a little bit better now. So since it's really late for fall planting, I'm probably gonna only get small potatoes out of these. I'm gonna put 2 of them in here. Everything that I researched, everybody says do 2, even though you're not gonna get probably big potatoes, you will get more. But if you plant 1 in here, you're gonna get like a bigger potatoes, but 2 of them, you're just gonna end up getting smaller ones, which is fine. And again, it's the middle of October right now, so I only have enough time for these to grow to make small ones anyways. Now when you plant these, you want to make sure the sprouts are facing up, which I have on both of these, and you want to have about the equal amount of space between there and there, there and there, there and there, and there you go. Now I'm going to use this and I'm going to stick it straight up and down in the soil, and I'm going to fill it the same way, just up into the top of this. There you have it. So now this has got enough soil over the top and it has space to hill it up. And I'm going to explain what that is right now. So these are all the potatoes that I planted on the 5th. And as you can see, they're labeled. Make sure you label everything and put the date. But everything's growing really, really nice. Now, I don't have to add any soil to any of this until the plants actually grow above this line here. So until they get to that point, you're just gonna keep watering this. They like consistent moisture, so just make sure you're consistent. But once it grows tall enough, you're going to do something called hilling up. So here's an example in one of my raised beds. These are all Kennebec potatoes, which I absolutely love. So the soil level is not all the way to the top. Now I let these get a little too tall. I should have added soil a while ago, but I've been kind of delayed making this video. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring some fresh soil over here, and I'm going to be careful not to get it on top. I'm just going to scoop it in the sides here. And I'm going to do that until the soil is almost to the top of the bed, but you can see the level here. So there's still some space left, just like in the buckets. And to show that, the bed next to it, that's all hilled up. So soil's to the top, and then I add nice straw mulch here just to help keep the soil moist. And because these are so tall, I actually added stakes with some twine just to keep everything standing up straight, because sometimes these potato plants, they do get a little tall. So if needed, you can support it with something like this. And one thing I want to point out, so these are these raised beds. I've done this same exact thing in cardboard boxes, and they grew fantastic. As long as you're growing in something where it holds moisture well, you should be totally fine. So if you don't have the money to buy raised beds or even all the buckets, you can use some good cardboard boxes. I would just add some duct tape around the outside just for extra support. Or if you want to do them in the ground, you can plant them pretty much the same way, about 6 to 8 inches under the soil. Then once the plants start getting tall, you're just going to pile up dirt around the plant, the base of the plant, and that's called hilling up. There's 2 reasons why you hill up. Number 1 is to support the plant, and number 2, some potatoes will actually produce more potatoes up that stem. So that's why you're going to want to add soil. I've even seen videos of people that just throw seed potatoes on the ground and just cover them with a bunch of straw, and they still get a great harvest. Which leads me to my next point. Another benefit of growing potatoes is they don't really need any fertilizer. I add fertilizer, and I'll show you that in a second, but they do really well. And the 3 potatoes that I highly suggest are Red Norland, Kennebec, and Yukon Gold. As far as fertilizer, I did a test with 6 different fertilizers. This one ended up being the absolute best, just the tomato, vegetable, and herb fertilizer. And like I planted in that bucket over there, I'm just going to add like a little more than half a cup to the top of the soil and just mix it in with my hand. And that's really all I do for the season. You don't really have to stay on top of it any more than that. The only other thing you're going to want to look for is any diseased leaves, cutting them off right away. Make sure they're not getting spider mites. If they're spider mites, you can hose them off, preferably spray them with a neem oil or something like that. But all in all, that's really all you got to do to fertilize. So that's it. I like to keep these videos short and sweet, so hopefully you learned something from this, and hopefully you're now inspired to start growing some potatoes yourself. And again, once you harvest your potatoes, you take some, put them in a paper bag, make sure there's holes in the bag, put them somewhere dark and dry, and then when the next season comes around, you're going to have seed potatoes for free. And the reason why I do that is if something crazy does happen, if the power grid goes down or the food supply gets wiped out, I can keep that going. So year round, year after year, hopefully we never get into a situation like that, but year after year, I can just keep planting and planting potatoes and growing more and more and more potatoes. And once you get the hang of it, I mean, you see how much I'm growing. There's no limit to how much you can grow. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, and if you like it, share it.